Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 30th episode of the Just with Josh. It is Friday, March 10th, 2023. And, well, what can I say? Male contraceptive is now available in the gel form, which is nice because it makes it a little bit easier to get into our plumbing and sewage infrastructure, and inevitably into our drinking water. And the Bank of Canada just announced they're pausing the interest rates, and they're going to maintain the 5.5% rate this week. So that's big news. Okay, I think that I noticed this week that 3.5 basic attention tokens is the equivalent of $1. If you want to sell your basic attention tokens, which is essentially, I don't know, we'll get into that. But this is this week's topics. We got a lot of great stuff here. The world's really been moving and shaking. The drums of war are beating. The Matrix is pilfering and pillaging the masses on a scale unlike the witches of the world has ever seen, and it's lovely. It's like that song Billy Joel. It's like the end of that song. The world just keeps on turning and it just keeps on burning. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to have you here. This is the 30th episode. I'm a numbers guy, okay? I believe in the power of numbers. And 30 is a very powerful number, okay? Like, I didn't want to say anything, leading up to this moment. I didn't want to, jinx anything. Although, it'd be hard to jinx up such a powerful number like 30. But 3, 0, obviously 0, incredibly holy number. 3 represents, 3 stability. It's like the pyramid, the 2 and then 1 on top, Not to get crazy. Okay, sorry, that was my speaker, my Bluetooth turning off. But yeah, ladies, it's the 30th episode of the Just with Josh, which is a big milestone, and I'm glad that we're here. I don't know how long it's been since we started the show, but I think we've been at it for almost 6, maybe 8 months now. I'm not sure, something like that. And it's been a lot of fun, and a lot's changed since we began the show. We're no longer living in under masks and whatnot. The vaccine mandates have went away. The trucker protest has since passed. A lot's happened since the Just with Josh has started. And I'd like to quote Joe Rogan from his podcast and from his interview with Tim Dillon, where he said, the green grass is coming through the snow. And I love that. And I've been thinking that kind of myself, and you can see the silver linings. Nothing positive, but we've pretty much hit rock bottom. We've pretty much, it's as shitty as it's going to get, okay? I mentioned in the intro there that the Bank of Canada has locked in the rates at 4.5%. They're not going to take them any higher. They're saying, you know what, we've been charging these people enough for money. They're screaming out here. They're poor as shit. They're ready to riot. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to control the supply of money by increasing the cost of money. And what we're doing is we're fighting inflation, and we can maintain the rate at 4.5%, but the inflation is just going to continue to run rampant. And I know that's seems, maybe if you're a fucking, one of these finance guys, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what that means. It means that our money's going to continue to devalue at an alarming rate, and they're going to be forced eventually to increase interest rates. And this is just the Bank of Canada, of course, but this isn't just the Bank of Canada. This is the United States. Their banks are doing the same thing. Their federal bank, their reserve. This is all these other, countries are collapsing because of the interest rates and their lending rates that are being offered by their local banks on one level, but then where these banks, of course your CIBCs, your RBCs, they have to borrow from the Bank of Canada, which is a federal banking entity, and that bank gets their money from another funding source. One of those funding sources, I believe, is the International Monetary Fund, which is increasingly dealing with the exchange of debt. and in the partaking of taking on debt for countries so that they can manage their infrastructure and build stuff and get things done and continue to borrow money. But from the top down, I can't imagine if it's costing all these federal banks more money to get money, it's costing a higher interest rate. What's going on at the top, like with these international monetary funds? Are they raising their interest rates? Like, how long is this going to go on for until, like, eventually, businesses just can't keep up with it? Like, it's going to get to, we really got to innovate here. We got to start dancing. We got to do something. I mean, I keep seeing these Instagram videos. Personally, this is what I'm thinking. I keep seeing these Instagram videos for, like, people are dipping, like, grapes in candy, like Jolly Ranchers, and they're, like, rolling it in, like, sugar and making, like, candy, like, out of, like, fruit candy. And I'm like, damn, that's actually, I'm thinking, I'm getting my brain's turning, and I'm like, maybe we should start up the fruit candy factory. I don't know. I could try my hand at some gourmet fruit. I've been told I'm a bit of a gourmet fruit myself. But anyways, our economy's completely fucked. And it's really just a matter of time before we are gnawing on each other's flesh. Truly. Yeah. Now they're saying that this is a good thing. They're positioning it in the news. They're like, oh, we're pausing the interest rates. Like, we're not going to increase it anymore. Like, as if it's not necessary or whatnot. But that's really not the case. It really is necessary. I think they're postulating for political reasons. That is the Federal Bank of Canada. Like, holy shit, right? Like, oh, don't increase the interest rates. They'll fucking riot if you increase them again. Like, but inflation's going to continue to destroy them, and then they can just point fingers afterwards and be like, oh, this is nobody's fault. Meanwhile, National Women's Day was 2 days ago, and Justin Trudeau has, confirmed, just for everybody who wasn't sure, that trans women are in fact real women. Like, which I think is funny as all hell. Like, really. Like, I have some people in my family that are like these feminists, they're like woke, they're like on that side of things. And like, you ever see, we've all seen the story, of course, about the teacher in Ontario, whatever, that has the fake prosthetic tits. And that's great and all. But you know what? Like, I wouldn't even go that far. Like, I think I'm ready just to identify as a woman, just to, like, proclaim it to the world. I think I'm almost there, because if I did, there would be nothing stopping me, because a woman is a woman is a woman. And if I felt that way in my heart, then I should be able to express myself truthfully. And I think that's a beautiful message. And I think Justin Trudeau is starting to make a bit more sense about some of these things. And he's right. This country is filled with transgender hatred. And I'm tired of it. And I'm kind of getting sick of it. And I know here on this podcast, we've struggled with the idea of transgenderism a little bit. But I'm starting to have a change of mind. I'm starting to have a change of heart. And I actually want to be better. I want to be better as a human being. And I'm ready to see things for how they truly are. And I'm ready to maybe even open myself to the idea that I've actually been a woman this whole time. Like, it would make sense. Like, my friend keeps telling me I look like a tranny. He keeps telling me, like, especially when I shave and, like, my long hair and whatnot, like, maybe I could be a little bit feminine. I love to dance. I love listening to, like, girly music. Like, I love Ice Spice. I love Madonna. Oh my gosh, I was listening to Madonna I think actually this morning. And I was listening to Material Girl. And, she was saying, we're living in a material world. And she's a material girl. And the man who's right is always the one with the cold hard cash. And I like something about that just clicked with me. And I just, like, fell into a trance, like, daze. Like, I just kind of stare out. Like, I had 100-yard gaze. And I could see out my window. I could just see the cross, on top of the church, outside my window. And I could we're living in a material world, and I am a material girl. And I just pictured, like, the Matrix, like a world of, like, I don't know, just like the whole globe. And I pictured all the money just flowing like a Matrix, just to the North Pole, just flowing in to all the female, like, matrodom, queendom, fucking, I don't know what you call this fucking nightmare hierarchy of females and trannies and fucking gay people and trans, whatever the fuck you want to call them, okay? These nightmare creatures. Sorry. Whoa, I don't know where that came from. Anyways, I'm totally ready to become a woman, perhaps. I think I could probably begin my transition immediately. In my heart and mind, I guess I'm actually going through a transition right now. So, I don't know what. I was thinking, like, Jessica would be a good name. I always wanted to be like a Jessica, or like I could be a Sarah. You know, I think I look like a Sarah. You know, I could be a good Sarah, but probably Jessica. You know, I want to keep my initials the same. You know, I got cool initials, JT. You know, like TJ from Disney's Recess. I don't want to fuck with that. So probably, you know, Jessica Thompson. That could flow. And, you know, I don't want to be one of these like girly girls. I want to be like, basically, maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to feel it out. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to express myself. I'm going to be fluid. I'm going to be open-minded. I'm not going to put a big mandate, okay, on my sexuality and who I'm supposed to be as a human, because I'm ready to open myself to new ideas. I feel like I've been housing a lot of hatred in my heart, and I feel like Justin Trudeau's, his expression and his care for the transgender population and his care for women and his love and passion for women has almost like unlocked something in my heart where now I can see that maybe I was just, you know, being a bit of a far-right, you know, conspiracy theorist lunatic, you know. Maybe I was just, you know, one of these, you know, these Canadians, you know, one of these neo-Nazi Canadians. Maybe I was getting, but don't blame me. It was probably the social media. I probably got like, I don't know, indoctrinated or something, you know. I probably wasn't able to even think for myself. But now I see the truth. Now all is clear. I'm ready to. I don't know if I'm going to be into the hormone things. I think that's a bit much. I think you know, it's a bit. Maybe not though. Maybe it's not too late. You know, it's never too late. That's what I heard. I was looking at some stuff, and science is powerful, and they've got really, really interesting tools. They've got great advanced techniques. They've got all kinds of shit that they've concocted up in their fucking labs to stick into me, so that I can fully embrace my spirit as a woman. But until that day comes, I don't want anyone trying to tell me how I should be or how I should feel as a how I should like represent myself as a woman. I want to be my own being. I want to be my own, and I want to stand for my own values. I don't want anyone to tell me nothing that has nothing. Like, I want to be my own person, and I think that's right. I think that's justified. I think that's allowed. So from now on the show, for now, it's still going to be Josh. But if you see me in person, it's going to be Jessica. So please, I know it's a little confusing, but I don't want it to be dead named outside of this show. So please respect that. So I don't know. I will be making people aware of that on a as per necessary basis. But I think it's going to really change. It really expand. My comedy might even get a lot better because it's really going to expand how I perceive the world. It's going to give me a new perspective when I'm a woman, you know? It's going to give me a whole new perspective. I don't know what I'm going to do about my dick and whatnot. I think I might keep it for the first bit. I don't know how I feel. I've been looking at some of the surgery videos. They look pretty advanced. I like what they've managed to accomplish. It's very fascinating. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not so sure that that's going to be the most wise decision, because I've had these things attached to me my entire life, and I thought to myself, you know what, let's keep them. Let's keep them forever. You know, even if I could have the coolest vagina ever. Like, I have enough meat down there where I could probably, if I really, you know, bended God's will using some of these tools and techniques and grafting and whatever not, I could probably have a fat pussy. Like I could probably engineer a fat pussy, and that might be what I want for myself. As a woman, to express myself, I might need a fat pussy. In order to fully embody how I feel on the inside and express it outwardly, I might need to have a fat pussy. Because ultimately, I want to be a hot bitch. I don't want to be a bottom tier. Like, I don't want to be a Becky. Okay, if I'm doing this, I'm going all the way. I want to be like Jennifer Aniston, Caitlyn Jenner, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian. I want to go all the way. I don't want to just be any woman, you know. I want to be a boss bitch. And I think that's possible. I don't see why I can't have that. It's 2023. Like, honest to God, people need to get with the times. They need to respect my identity, frankly. So, anyways, male contraceptive. Now, this is more good news. Good news. That's all I ever want. And that's all I ever give. Give the people what they want. Here's some good news, okay? The male contraceptive is available in gel form. That's right, you've heard me, gel. Now, that sounds kind of cool because gel, gel's kind of a nice substance. You know, when you think about it, it's much more. What's the word? Like it gets around a lot easier than a pill. You know, a pill's kind of like it's a capsule. It's tiny. It's usually stored away. It's kind of pesky. Like it doesn't really flow around. It doesn't get to where it needs to go. But now they got this new shit. You know, some new stuff. You know, back in the labs, these eggheads. You know, just at work doing God's work. And what they came up with is the gel that you probably rub on your dick, dude. That's gonna suck, man. What happens if you get you know what I mean? Like, what if you went to Valley Village and you like bought a pair of jeans that some like guy that had a bunch of gel on his dick and then he didn't wash them, and then you didn't wash them, or what if you did wash them and then it's still, or what if like it just like stayed in the water, like even after it didn't fully dissolve or something? Like, what if it's just a very like it's gonna spread and just get everywhere? It's like this fucking crazy gel. Yeah, but anyways, that's just more good news because, you know, we have a population problem. You know, some say it's a crisis called population collapse that is inevitably going to take place in the next 30 years or whatnot. We're basically not going to have enough people. It's already happening in Japan. There's way more old people than young people. There's not enough young people producing new businesses, not enough producing goods to trade, to have an actual economy. There's too many old people. It's like half the economy is just like going towards like caring for old folks, basically, which is kind of bleak, you know, like, is that really what, you know, instead of having a middle class, we're just going to have, you know, the aging elite, like the old fuckers, and then you're going to have the subservient, their child, like under 30-year-old servants probably. There's a book actually that went around at one point that was actually kind of talking about that, like society collapsed and then like, you know, kids lived in poverty. They lived in like collapsed, you know, abandoned buildings, and occasionally the police who were consisting, it was like a police of other kids that were all being employed by like old people. They were all subjugated by old people. Like all the old folks lived in like in luxury. They lived in like, they all had polite lives, and some kids were sponsored by like their elderly grandparent or whatnot. Like, but basically in this book, everyone who was middle-aged died in a big plague. There was like a big plague and it killed everyone who was middle-aged. So there was only young people left, and there was only old people left. But that's basically, we don't even have a plague coming necessarily, but that's the future we're heading towards. And you know, and then in this book there was like this program set up where you could essentially, if you wanted to, you could have a consciousness transfer. If you were an old folk and you wanted to, you know, you wanted to, you know, enjoy some younger days or whatnot, you could go to a lab and they would, like some Black Mirror shit, they'll transfer your consciousness into the host of a younger person who's like living in poverty in one of these towers, like scavenging like a bandit. And then you can take over their mind and like live as them, and you can go clubbing and have sex and like party and have a good time. And like these kids who were living in poverty, who were like completely like destitute, would agree to this because they were just trying to get by and they would get a fat paycheck. So it's this really fucked up like reality, you know. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that, you know, in grade in grade 11 or something. I don't know what grade, but it was in high school that they felt the need to distribute that. This was around the time like Hunger Games was big. Like, they're talking about, there's a society that they have the one city that's elite, and they make these kids fight in an arena for sport, for a spectacle, so they can entertain their citizens and keep the rebellions from happening. We're I don't know why they're, it's just a lot of fun messaging here. It's in the subconscious of the people. Like, this is the stuff that authors are writing about nowadays. It went from like 1984 to like even more warped and dystopian ideas. And then you're looking at these interest rates. You're looking at what they're doing to us from a policy basis. You're looking at what our parliament looks like, which is turning into a screaming mess. The Canadian parliament is turning into a fucking screaming mess. It's an absolute nightmare. It's not professional. It's ridiculous. Okay, and frankly, if I could, I would, ladies and gentlemen. I'd probably get involved, but I don't know how the fuck one gets involved. I don't know what you want to do. Like, the way our political system works, I think it's like companies sponsoring like individuals and advancing them into the politics, and then they're embraced by a political party, and then they're whipped and they have to follow. We have a really fucked up political system. And at this point, like, Tucker Carlson might be right. It might be time to send in the troops. Like, we might need to liberate Canada. Like, think of all the resources that are not being used effectively, that could be managed, that could probably solve a lot of the problems for the war effort, like oil and whatnot, if it was being managed by maybe we had more it was easier to directly interface with the American economy. Maybe if some of these states, maybe some of these provinces who don't necessarily agree with this corrupt and tyrannical federal government, like Alberta or whatnot, maybe they should be given the option to sell themselves to the United States or move. If the political casus belli is there, if the reason for war like lies, if there's a good enough argument to be made, and I think there might be, I don't know, we got to do some consolidation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at these inflation rates, I'm looking at these interest rates, and it might be time to consolidate some of these. And we might have to protect Canada's freedoms from these corporate interests that are actually devouring this country. I mean, how they swept it under the rug real quick. The Chinese interference in the election. They're saying, oh, no, that's bullshit. There's no Chinese interference in the election. And you know what? Actually, we're going to create a new guy. We're going to have a whole office that talks about why the election wasn't actually interfered with by China. There's going to be a whole new position. He wants to, instead of opening himself up to individual Canadians and actual citizens of this country and independent journalists, he's going to create a government-sanctioned fucking podium position to spout his fucking nonsense and lies, probably a load of crack of shit, about how China didn't interfere in our election. Instead of being honest and releasing all information. They're hiding everything between NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. They're not letting people speak the truth, man. They're shutting everything down across the board. It's like Madonna. It's the material world, material girl all across the fucking world. Johnny Cash just burn it, spin it. Just the magnet. It's like the devil's got a big fucking magnet, okay? And he's just working through all the woman, and he's just pulling all the fucking money up into the center, up into the fucking nothing. It's just going into a black hole. Who's this? What monster are we feeding at this point? We're going to be slaves. We need to act now. I don't know like what that means, but gotta do something, man. Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise we're going to be like, it's going to be some shit out of Half-Life 2. We're going to be like taking subway stations between places we aren't going to remember. They're going to put shit in the water to make you forget. You're not going to be fertile. There's going to be like suppression of your fucking ability to reproduce to meet the global mandate for like the global quota for birth rates, and so that you don't go over. Like, it's going to be a total fucking nightmare if you keep seeding these people power in the form of wealth. Like, you can't just give up all your money. You do have to have some economic agency as an individual citizen. You can't be crushed under basic living expenses. It's not reasonable. I mean, in the French Revolution, wasn't that ultimately what made people rebel, was the living expenses, that the people weren't able to pay for bread and shit? Like, I'm not saying, let's get crazy. Let's get, I don't know, guys. Start listening to more Eminem. He's got the message, old Eminem, though, not this weird new Eminem, Eminem he used to want the revolution, and then he fell off at some point. I know that's kind of a random, aside, but I've been listening to a lot of Eminem, and he used to be so based. Eminem used to be so based, and then somewheres along the road, he just started being gay. Like, probably when he started being rich, probably after a decade of being rich as fuck and famous as fuck, probably went to his head a little bit, that whole thing he did where he was like, fuck Donald Trump. He's like, Donald Trump, fucking Donald Trump, fucking Donald Trump, I'm gonna get Donald Trump. I'm like, what? That was fucking weird, man. That was fucking weird. That was not very stan of you. That was not very 8 Mile until I collapse of you. You know what I mean? That's not very lose yourself of you. That's kind of bitchy. So I don't know what happened to Eminem, man, but he fucking turned into a bitch, and he won't acknowledge it, and it's crazy. And I would love to hear his side of the story. You know who Joe Rogan should have on his fucking podcast? Eminem. He's supposed to, anyways. I feel like the government, MK Ultra'd Eminem. I feel like the U.S. government took him in and, I don't know, brainwashed him or something, because he's all different now. But I was thinking about it, not to get away from all the political shit and all that nonsense. I want to make an artistic comment, okay? I would like to make an artistic comment about the Mona Lisa painting, one of the most famous paintings in human history, and from the Renaissance period, quite beautiful painting. And people are always saying about the Mona Lisa painting, they're saying, why in the background is it, so fucked up? Why is it all blurry? All these hills and shit. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of warped and all weird. And I thought about it. I was really fucking high, man. And I was just sitting there thinking about it. And I Googled it. And I looked at it. And it's almost while he was painting, this picture, he was painting the woman. But then he was almost because he was kind of enchanted by her beauty. And he was almost it was almost entrancing him. So as he is drawing this beautiful face, it's almost the beauty of a woman. It's almost reality is warped. It warps around the beauty of a woman. It's and he's struggling to paint properly around the beauty of this woman, and he's centralized. His mind is focused on one thing, and it's her. And he gets to sit there and stand there and paint her for 8 hours. That's probably what it fucking was, man. And it's a kind of a beautiful, my artistic comment is it's kind of how it's almost physical reality, or the perception of physical reality is warped by a woman's beauty. Because when you look at a beautiful woman, everything else fades away, in a sense. Everything else becomes almost a blur. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what the Mona Lisa is getting at. I think that's kind of a good representation of that. So that's my artistic comment about the Mona Lisa. Because I've been thinking about that picture painting for years. I haven't been able to make out shit about it. I haven't been able to have a single decent thought about it. I don't know what the fuck people give a fuck about it for. I'm this is a dumb picture. I mean, she's not even hot. She looks kind of milquetoast. I wouldn't bang her. She's not good enough for me. I wouldn't bang Mona Lisa. I wouldn't have sex with her. But she's not pretty enough. I don't think so. She looks like kind of a butterface, Anyways, but where was I going? Mona Lisa's ugly. She's not ugly. But I've been thinking about that painting for many years, and I haven't been able to make it what's significant about it. But then I thought of that one thing. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I'm glad I could deliver that to you. And I wanted to talk a little bit about discovering pornography. Or do I want to that or claiming wealth and energy on Instagram memes, which I've been conflicted on. Let's go into that for a moment. I believe Instagram really is. I believe TikTok, and you're starting to see these bans roll out across all these platforms, across all these government agencies and whatnot, in the United States and now in Canadian Ontario government. They're banning TikTok and the police force on all devices, because it's like a Chinese, it's a tool of the Chinese state, and they're using it, and they're using it as a spy tool to like run fucking psychological warfare on the fucking American population, obviously. And it's cool that it's still available. It's probably going to get banned. But honest to God, we got Instagram, which is kind of the same thing. YouTube Shorts has turned to the same thing. Like, they're all like machinations of censorship and trying to twist your vision and trying to get you to feel a certain way and trying to like brainwash you into some type of thinking, man. And I was looking at this, these Instagram memes that are like, you're scrolling past, between all the drudgery. It's like you are going like a great abundance of wealth is going to befall into your life, like this picture, and comment claimed, and then you can claim your wealth and energy. And then there's all these like girls basically, putting claimed and shit at the bottom, and they're claiming all this wealth. And I'm sitting there, I'm like an outsider. I'm on the sidelines watching this go down. And I really shouldn't even be on. Like, I'm thinking about deleting Instagram and getting off all this shit, to be honest with you, because I really do think it's all like works of the devil. I think ChatGPT might be work of the devil as well. And I just don't think Instagram's it. Yeah, so basically these memes, all these women are collecting this wealth and whatnot, and I'm thinking like, what if that's it? Like, what if that's the universe, how it works? Like, you can just claim, like, they're just sending out freebies. Like, you just gotta. What if, you just got to claim the wealth on your Instagram feed. You got to like the meme. Dude, these girls got it figured out, man. They're no wonder women are like, the gender pay gap's like closing so fast. No wonder, man, because the women are like working, like they're working together. I play a lot of games like Counter-Strike and Dota 2, okay? And in these games you have to work as a team. And if you're a team that can't work as a team and you're up against a team that can work as a team, you're toast, okay? And it's like women are a team that can work together, and guys, it's like we haven't figured it out yet in a certain sense. Like we're honest, we're good-hearted, we're good old boys, never did no harm, most of us, okay? But these ladies aren't like that. They've syndicated, okay? They've assimilated into a mass hive mind consciousness that they've been operating from. They're like the Germans in World War II, okay? They've mobilized. They've created a war economy. They're coming. They've closed all the gaps. They've claimed all the wealth on all the Instagram memes. I think God's tapped out at this point. And I don't know what we're gonna do, gentlemen. But the woman, they're voting. They're still gonna vote. And the liberal government, like everything that's going on is benefiting women. Except, well, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe it's too early to call it. Maybe this whole transgender thing is really gonna work out for girls. Maybe it's gonna work out for girls. Maybe when I'm a girl and I'm a woman, maybe all women will feel like more protected and like more represented as a gender. Maybe once I'm a woman, you'll feel a little bit more represented as a gender, ladies. I don't know. You know what? Call that a guarantee. Like if you don't feel represented by me as a woman, when I fully transition, you can get your fucking. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what metric or I don't know what I can do to repay you in any regard. But man, maybe I'll play with your tits a little bit. Maybe I'll titillate you as a woman, though. Like I'll compare our breast sizes or something. I don't know. I'd be more of like a prosthetic. I like that idea. I don't think I want to like insert anything in my body surgically. I think that's unholy, I want to be like a Caitlyn Jenner type transgender like person. Like I want to represent traditional values, but I want to be like a sexy lady at the end of the day. I said I want to be a hot bitch. I want to be an immaterial girl. I would like to, I think I'd be a perfect woman. So I'm going to lean in that direction. I'm going to begin the process emotionally and philosophically to become a woman. and we'll find out what that means. I'm not gonna do any gay shit, obviously. I will still, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I have sex with men necessarily. I can be a lesbian, So don't go assuming that, my my asshole is only good for one thing, okay? So don't get any funny ideas. What else? What else do we got? The US dollar is worth 3.5 basic attention tokens. So I got this browser, and I don't know if you're like me and you don't like having the internet track you. Maybe you have a VPN, maybe you don't use Google, you don't use Chrome anymore. Maybe you moved on, you use this browser called Brave. Now Brave is great because it's no censorship, it's no bullshit. It hides all your data. It's not like trying to like feed the AI all the information it needs to like take over your soul. Okay. So some people like to use Brave. And one of the features of Brave is they're really crypto friendly. And we all know how friendly the crypto world is, and they've got this feature in Brave where, you can, you can display your wallet with your crypto tokens in it right on the browser. And you can even earn a certain token through the browser that's called the basic attention token, which is basically a currency that you accrue passively by just browsing the internet. Assumedly, like a percentage of this maybe is coming from ads. I don't know what the fuck is generating. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what system of the economy is working. I don't know what valve broke fucking loose, okay? But essentially, I'm passively generating these basic attention tokens that I don't know what that fucking means, frankly. Basic attention token, okay? And apparently, I have 2.5, which is about 67 cents. 67 United States, 6 cents of a United States dollar. So if you wanted to have 3.5 of these, it would actually cost you $1 US. And I don't even know how I'm getting these fucking things. I don't know what this fucking means. But what does it mean for society? What does it mean for the economy when 3.5 of these useless fucking, I don't even know, like the equivalent of digital dust accumulating on my fucking virtual shelf? Okay, what is going on with the economy where that dust is worth anything at all? Why is it not worth why is it not worth a tenth of a fucking penny? Why is it not worth 100th of a fucking penny? What's going on with our system that it can afford to attribute a value of 67 goddamn cents to these 2.5 basic attention tokens that I've accumulated jerking off, basically? What's going on with the economy? The eggs cost $5 a fucking carton. To get a package of spaghetti pasta, it costs $2.30. But I can get 3.5 basic attention tokens for $1. What the fuck? The values that we attribute as a society to the values that we attribute to things are completely fucked. This economy is not going to get better. Inflation is not going to stop. The interest rates are never going to be enough unless we change what we value, unless we start valuing things that are actually fucking valuable, unless we stop spending money on Genshin Impact, on virtual fucking VTuber pussy, okay, donating to Twitch, whatever the fucks, okay, giving money to Jeff Bezos to buy candy off Amazon, okay, until we stop investing our money in this garbage, in this complete total fucking mental garbage, like until we stop committing mental suicide, menticide, okay, we're going to continue to become more poor than you could ever fucking imagine, okay? If they don't start to value food, if people don't start to put food ahead of Fortnite skins, pretty soon we're going to be fucked. Okay, we're going to be completely fucked. They're not going to have enough farms. They're not going to, if we don't start valuing the burning of coal to fuel the reduction in the prices of our energy so that we can have, cheaper infrastructure and so that we can run a cheaper system, or if we don't start coming up with different fuel sources and, cut out this bullshit with, all this, plant fucking wildlife initiative habitat bullshit. Okay, we're fucking done. We need to place value. We gotta stop buying OnlyFans. You gotta stop going to see Disney movies. You gotta you know what's valuable? I don't know, a ranch. Like vegetables are valuable. Like vehicles, like machinations, like hardware, things that we can use, materials that we can use as tools, not this garbage that we've been accumulating. Until that happens, we're gonna continue to slide into this depression, and it's gonna turn into a fucking total fucking collapse. They say in the last days of Rome, it was just constant fucking parties and whatnot. But I don't even think we're gonna have enough food to have parties. I think the cannibals will have parties as they dance around the fires and cook human corpses for their feasts. Maybe they'll have a good party, but I don't think us nice guys, us as good folk here, my audience members, I don't think we're going to fare well in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. I think we're going to need a little bit. I think we're going to need we're going to have to reform the fucking Templars, the Templar Knights or whatever to try and survive. We're going to have to build citadels. We're going to have to like establish a holy nation or whatever just to survive after the collapse. And this is if the nukes don't even fall. I'm not even talking about the nukes, but anyways, I'm not getting into the nukes this week. This has been a lovely episode. I feel like it's been very productive. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like we're coming to the end here, though. It's been a beautiful night. I hope you have a productive week. I hope you, assign value to something that's valuable. Maybe your family, maybe, health, maybe towards your wealth, your family's wealth, maybe towards, something. I don't know. Do something healthy. Don't let this system completely strangulate you and crush you with these basic living costs. And don't let the bullshit get to you. Like these guys, I think they're shaking. I think it's about to. Once I expand my perspective as a woman, I think a lot's gonna change. I think it's gonna all come together. I think everything's gonna click once I become a woman. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a great episode. I'm happy we could do this, as always. Thank you for being my guests. This has been the Just with Josh, episode number 30. And, I almost want to keep going, but I feel like it's, I feel like this is about the most people will probably watch, because I don't know, YouTube's kind of been putting, anyways, we're not going to bring it up. But anyways, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a beautiful night. Enjoy your weekend. God bless. Open yourself up to prayer. Don't be a fucking demon, okay? Protect those in yours. I don't fucking know. Like, do something valuable with your time. Have a nice night, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Just with Josh, episode number 30.